What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show presented by Bet Online. Eric, the Blazers are back. Happy December. November is done. We're starting this month off right with a road win against the Utah Jazz. 116-111. Anfernee Simons pops off 33 points in the first half, looking like a damn superstar, or maybe looking like a Dame superstar, because this dude is looking like Dame 2.0 right now. Another phenomenal game from him. Jeremy Grant steps up, has a big game, and the Blazers get a much needed win. They looked better, they looked fresher, and they got the job done. We're gonna break it down for you guys here. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. Eric, how you feeling, man? I had you muted. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Go again. I'm playing the intro song, so I see that bar moving. I thought it was yours. Chat's mad at me. Okay. Re-rack. Go ahead. Apologies.
Well, just a phenomenal game from Anfernee Simons, and then Jeremy Grant with another monster game. He really stepped up when we needed someone to, because they were just overplaying on Anfernee. And then, so great win. And then the prospects of getting Damian Lillard back tomorrow, maybe, it's looking like a pretty good possibility. And this is ramping up to maybe get back on track and put November behind us.
Yep, absolutely. Let's thank our sponsor, Bet Online. This is the Blazers Uprise postgame show presented by Bet Online. Use promo code BELIEVE for 50% rewards. If you took the over on Anfernee Simons points or anything involving Anfernee Simons tonight, it was probably a winner. Dude was on fire, but you can bet on the World Cup still. USA got knocked out today, unfortunately, but if you want to get invested in other games, you can use that promo code and head over to Bet Online where the game starts. All right, so I'm going to try and fix the scores, but you said you were feeling a lot better. I think that's when I had you muted. You said you were feeling a lot better after this game. Why specifically do you feel better? Like, what about this game? Obviously, there was a lot of positives, but what about this game made you feel a lot better?
Just the fact that it's something that you've been talking about the last couple shows. Having two stars that can... I mean, whether you want to call her stars, that's not the point. But you have Anfernee Simons and Jeremy Grant, who have both shown the capabilities of taking over a game and leading a team to victory. Grant's done it a game without both Dame and Anfernee. Anfernee's done it on multiple occasions this year, and now we get Dame back too. So I am still worried about the defense. It was horrendous again tonight, but we got away with it because Malik Beasley and Jordan Clarkson, outside of a couple shots towards the end, couldn't make a three-pointer tonight, so we kind of got lucky there. But, I think we have the ability to outscore anyone with those three stars. And I'm hoping that Anfernee learns from all the pressure he got in this game. I really need this team to focus on that, because that's going to happen a lot to Dame and Ant. And having Grant post up is a good solution, but I didn't like how far he was getting the ball away from the hoop. We've talked about that many times on these shows too. So they got to find a way to make teams pay for overplaying on Dame and Ant when they're both in the lineup. Or like tonight when one of them's missing, if they can't just sell out in the second half to stop someone like that and have us not really make them pay. But fortunately for us, we got the win and just a masterful performance by Anfernee.
I actually think the defense was all right in this game. Jared Vanderbilt 4 for 4 from 3. The game plan was to leave him open. I mean, that dude knocked down all 4 of his corner threes. He goes 4 for 4. There were some bad possessions, but overall I thought the energy level defensively was better. These guys just looked fresher and just seemed to have a little bit of their mojo back. And that's not really surprising, given the fact that they had 2 days off going into this one after playing a ton of games in the month of November. I was actually really encouraged with this game, Eric, to start things off, because it wasn't just the energy on defense. On offense, this team seemed a little bit more upbeat as well. And it just felt different than earlier this season. Obviously, it's going to feel great when Anfernee's hitting a bunch of threes, but I also don't think it's a complete coincidence that Portland in crunch time in another crunch time game against these Utah Jazz, of course we lost by 5 when we played them earlier this year, they actually got the job done and came up with big plays, which they had struggled doing in crunch time over the past couple of weeks. I thought overall the energy level looked better. Still defensive breakdowns here and there, but 111 to the Jazz when Vanderbilt goes 4 for 4 from 3 and they get to line 28 times off some ticky-tack stuff. I thought was pretty good, and you had some big defensive plays, I think, which was the key thing, because this team wasn't coming up with any big defensive plays in the past couple of weeks. Maybe you could think of 1 or 2 off the top of your head, but they were not coming up with big defensive moments. You had multiple big defensive moments in this game. You had Anfernee Simons look like GP2 and almost steal a ball. The ball went out of bounds, but I thought he was phenomenal defensively tonight. Stripped Jordan Clarkson on that final play. Jabari Walker had a huge block. Greg Brown III had a huge block and also a huge dunk. And this team, I thought, just was moving better defensively, covering more ground, reacting to some things quicker than they had been. Still got some work to do on some rotational breakdowns and that sort of thing, but I actually think the defense was better than what it looked like the past couple of weeks.
Completely disagree. Gave up 60 points in the first half. The only reason why we'd had a lead was Anfernee had 33 at halftime. Without Anfernee going nuclear, we would have been down probably 10 points at halftime and been talking about how bad the defense was. So
we gave up 111 in this game.
No, I know, but with 60 at halftime, 51 in the second half is good, but that was mostly because I don't think Beasley hit a 3 in this game. He took, like 8 or 9 of them.
I mean, he took 6 threes, was 1 for 6.
1 for 6.
But also didn't get anywhere near as clean of looks he did earlier this season. They had 60 in the first half, but Vanderbilt goes 3 for 3 from 3, right? And the game plan was to leave him open. That was kind of fluky. And also, how many free throws did they have in the first half where it was plays that were probably some bad calls? Like, I thought the refereeing in this game was terrible against Portland, at least in the first half. 60 points, yeah, they come out in the second half, Utah doesn't get the same parade of free throws, and they hold them to 51.
I feel like the fouls were not... I feel like the calls against us were valid for the most part. It's just that they weren't calling the same fouls on Utah on defense. That was where I was frustrated with the reffing, but I do feel like we were reaching a lot. And the other thing is, I mean, Clarkson missed at least 3 wide open threes in the second half. Malik Beasley had 2 absolutely wide open breakdown of defense ones that he missed, both of them. That's 5 threes right there in the second half alone from two people that usually kill us. I'm just saying we won this game because our offensive firepower came through and we made some plays at the end. But, I mean, Markkanen loses the ball for an over and back. Then he loses the ball off his leg on a pass towards the end of the game and stuff. I don't think that was necessarily because we were playing lockdown defense or anything. So, yeah, I get it's 111 points. It's better than what we've been giving up, but I still don't think it looked great. Yeah,
I just can't sit here and say our defense was horrendous. And in the first half, Utah had a free throw rate of 46.3%. No, shout out my guy Corey Jez for this stat. 46.3%. That would have been the highest figure of any game this season. And in the first half, Utah was only getting 25% of their field goal attempts at the rim, which is good for the 13th percentile among games this season. That was a Corey Jez tweet. So that is a stat. Now, obviously, free throws don't count as a field goal attempt around the rim. But overall, I thought that they got a lot of ticky-tack calls in that first half. And then you let Vanderbilt sit there in the corner wide open and he goes 3 for 3 from 3. I mean, that contributes to 60 points for Utah. But we were giving up 60 points every half, and it was like 60 points where it was for sure our bad defense. And it wasn't just, oh, we're going to let a dude who's like never hit threes in his career shoot threes and he goes 3 for 3. And then the other team is getting every call in their favor. So yeah, there's some breakdowns and whatnot, but I thought overall the energy was better. you're still talking about a team that isn't built to defend at the point of attack, and they got a couple good guards, Clarkson and Sexton, and you didn't have Josh Hart out here tonight. You start Grant at the 3, Grant at the 2, I guess, and Watford at the 3, Winslow at the 3. I don't even know. You're starting 4 forwards, right? And then you're having to play Jabari Walker, Greg Brown, Shaden Sharp off the bench, no Drew Eubanks. Like, I thought, considering what they had, considering the situation of, Jared Vanderbilt leaving him open, I get that, to try and help into the paint. I thought they should have adjusted to that a little bit earlier. But then some of the calls Utah got in the first half, and then they come out in the second half and hold them to 51 points. That is not something that this team has done the past couple of weeks. I thought that was a huge step forward, and I thought it looked better. Still big mistakes, and still, some plays where guys maybe didn't give the best effort. Like Shaden Sharp had a couple plays where I felt like he kind of gave up on them. But overall, the energy level in this game, and I thought the defense was better.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to argue with that with a win. I didn't see the same thing. I thought our defense was pretty bad, actually, and we got pretty lucky in this game. Yeah, Vanderbilt's not going to make all 4 of his threes again, so you can count on that. But the other thing is, too,
if it goes 2 for 4, we give up 105 points on the road in Utah. I'll take that any day.
I mean, he is shooting well from the corner, but
but if we got Justice Winslow going 3 for 3, we're saying that's fluky as hell, right? So I feel like we got to do the same thing for Vanderbilt.
I mean, he shoots a good percentage from the corners this year. It's small attempts, but I think...
How many threes has he made in his career?
I think he's 12 of 24 from the corner, if I'm not mistaken. That's what Trevin said earlier on the year now. So...
Yeah, but we're talking about a dude who's played in the league for 4 years. Before this year, 3 for 22 or something. So he's 8 for 22 this year on the season going into this game. He's now 12 for 26, like good percentages. But the game plan was to leave him open because he hasn't proven himself as a shooter hardly at all. In small sample size, yeah, like he's starting to prove himself, especially after a game like this. But, that's the thing, is if he's established as a shooter that can go 4 for 4, you probably don't leave him open. And so that was something in the first half that kind of worked in their favor.
And as far as the fouls go, at some point, you have to blame the team that is continually putting themselves in positions to get fouls called on them when they know that the refs are calling every little ticky-tack foul against them.
But were they putting themselves in position?
Stop reaching, stop bodying instead of going straight up, that kind of stuff. It was happening a little bit. You just got to adjust. And, like I said, it's BS that they weren't calling those same fouls. Ant got absolutely mugged for 4 straight quarters in this game. Colin Sexton was hand-checking him and arm barring him the whole time, holding him. That should have all been the same calls on our end, but at some point you have to just not contact at all with your hands or body if they're calling every little touch you do.
Yeah. But then again, Chauncey Billups in the last post-game press conference said that he wanted the defense to be more physical. Mm-hmm. I think that this team tried being more physical, and I don't think they were overly physical, and that's the thing, is when you're playing offensively and you're getting all these bombs and little checks and they're not being called, then you start to say, okay, well, I can do the same thing, right? Because that's the thing, is I think a good referee just calls things consistently. Mm-hmm. One good referee might call things very ticky-tacky. One referee might let guys play. But just as long as it's consistent, it's fair. I don't want to talk too much more about the refs in this game. I just thought they were rough in the first half. And then when they stopped getting as many calls, we hold them to 51 and 21 in the fourth quarter. We step up and have a huge fourth quarter defensively to win. When Ant isn't going anymore, I don't know if he made a shot from the field in the fourth quarter. That was huge because we won that fourth quarter by 3 to win the game by 5. And the guy we were relying on all game, who had 43 in 3 quarters, doesn't do anything in the fourth because he's kind of gassed because he's been absolutely carrying the team and playing heavy minutes. He played 41 minutes in this game. But we step up and win it with our defense. Plus, Jeremy Grant stepping up. As well, 33 points for him, 5 assists, only 1 turnover. You love to see that. I would like to see him have more than 0 rebounds in 37 minutes, but we'll talk about him later. I just thought it was very nice to see this team win a game defensively against a team that's been solid this year. On the road, Utah's been good at home this year, if I recall correctly, or it's Denver. It's one of the Rocky Mountain teams. But in altitude, I just thought the energy looked better. I'm happy with what I saw.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and yeah, the defense down the stretch was pretty good. But I mean, it's a situation where we were up 12 at one point. I think was our biggest lead. Maybe a couple more than that. I think it was 12. And once again, we just tend to play really bad. We go into the second half up 9 and blow the lead right away. And I think a lot of that is defense. Because if we were playing better defense and you score almost 70 points in a half, that should equate to a bigger lead, in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, it's hard to argue when you win the game.
Yeah, when you win the game, and when your bench is Greg Brown the third, Jabari Walker, and Shaden Sharp, and you're starting Watford at the 3 or Winslow at the 3, and you don't have much shooting, like outside of Simons and Grant, because I keep bringing this up. Outside of Simons and Grant, the rest of the team from 3, Eric, was 1 for 8.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. Like, Ant had it going, but they started collapsing on him, and he didn't have kick-out options to make them pay for collapsing on him. So he had 7 turnovers in this game, but I don't really fault him. Like, he's trying to make something happen against a stacked defense that's sending a ton of guys at him. That's why this 45-point game is super impressive. 15 for 25 from the field, 7 for 12 from the three-point line. It's not like he had 20 free throws. It wasn't like, Jeremy Grant's 44-point game earlier this year. He gets to the line 8 times. One of those trips was in at the end of the game where he got fouled, knocked down a couple clutch free throws, which was awesome. But that's why his performance was super impressive. The way he got hot from 3, but then also the way he attacked. He was 8 for 13 inside the arc. 4 assists as well.
Finishes.
I think this is a game where if he just has shooting around him, he has 45, maybe 50 points, 8 assists in 3 turnovers. It's just he was doing the most with the least amount of spacing. You got 3 non-shooters out there basically in the starting lineup with Winslow, Watford, and Nurkic. And then the guys off the bench like Jabari Walker almost airballed a 3 short. He was 0 for 2. They weren't really respecting his 3 that he couldn't make them pay. One of them was in and out to his credit. But Greg Brown 1 for 3. Nice to see him hit a 3, but he also airballed another 3. Ended up being a pass to Nurk. But, none of these guys are floor spacers. So overall, offensively, we have 2 stars in this game. This was like, Eric, you know what this reminded me of? This reminded me of 2 different things. It reminded me of Dame and LaMarcus with Grant with the turnaround fadeaways and Simons, being young, and but it also reminded me of this is basically the Lakers. No spacing, and LeBron and AD have to carry the team. These 2 guys combined for 88 points.
78.
78? My math's bad. Damn it. 78 points. 88 sounded better, but 78 points from both of them. Grant has 33 on an efficient night shooting. Simons has 45. I mean, these 2 guys playing like stars.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've stepped up. The thing of the turnovers, Ant can't turn. What did he have? 7 turnovers tonight? 7 turnovers. That's way too high. But with the amount of attention he was getting, playing once again over 40 minutes a game, the amount of effort he had to exert just to get shots at some points in this game, you're going to be kind of tired towards the end of the game, and a lot of his turnovers were in the second half. I think you mentioned this one during the game in the chat, but there was one where he gets double teamed and Winslow cuts to a position where it has no chance of throwing him the ball, and it looks like a bad turnover on Anfernee because he throws the ball into the backcourt, but he really had nowhere to go because no one had the proper angle to beat that trap where it was. So one of those. There was the one where he picks up his dribble in the backcourt. That was inexcusable. There was a couple where he just lost the dribble right to the guy guarding him. So he's definitely got to clean those up. But like I said, when you're playing 40 minutes a night trying to carry a team without their best player, I mean, you've got to give him a little bit of slack, I think, on the turnovers.
Absolutely. I mean, that's this dude didn't play an absolutely perfect game, but he played damn near perfect outside the turnovers. So just would have been nice to keep him going in the second half. But when you're going off like that, it does take a lot out of you from an energy standpoint. But I also thought he had some bad moments, but he also had some really good defensive possessions. It was kind of a mixed bag. But when you have a guy going off like that and carrying the offense, if he can provide you anything defensively, even if it's just in short bursts, I will absolutely take that.
For sure.
And that was a huge game-winning stop. Like, of course, he seals this game with a strip. Ended up being a kickball, kind of a fluky play, but I loved seeing that.
And a couple minutes before that, he got switched on to Clarkson, kept it in front of him, made him take a tough shot too. That was a key play when the game was still in limbo there. We're down 111, 110, scored the last 6 points. So obviously the last few possessions went very well for us.
Absolutely. Let me thank a couple donos. Shout out to Emerson, member for 27 months, with the member message. Says, glad to see intro smiles again, Blazers baby, fire emoji. Yeah, it's nice to smile on a stream again. Thank you, Emerson, for the member message. And then shout out Ads, $5 donation, says, Jordan Clarkson looked like he took a WWE tap from Team Nurk and Grant. Blazers bad boys? Yeah, that was a hard fall, man. Hard fall. I don't really know how it was a foul on either of our guys, though. And I think isn't that the play where Hardy, that's his name, right? Their coach's name? I forget.
Will Hardy, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Was that the play he got the technical on?
I think so, yeah.
I don't know how we fouled him. I don't, because they didn't call anything on us, and I thought that was the correct call. Like, it was a collision, but he ran into, I don't know, it was just bodies colliding. It wasn't like any one guy causing it or anything.
I think he did get hit on the arm, but yeah, it was more just a collision because of people being out of control and not. Yeah.
And then shout out Michael Orm with a $5 dono says, the Blazers really needed a play to win the game motivational speech. Thank you, Michael, for the $5 dono. Yeah, I mean, this team just needed a win. You're talking about this team potentially going under 500 for the first time this year after starting off that hot. That would have kind of sucked. And this was a tough game going into this. I expected the Blazers to really have to battle in order to stay in this one. But these are the type of games that the Blazers would win earlier in the year. They would just find a way to get it done. They would do just enough defensively. They'd have their stars step up, and that's how they won games. It's nice to win a game, where it's a scratch and claw battle down the stretch on the road against a decent team, and just figuring out a way to get it done. Especially they were down 111 to 110 there in the final minute, and then drew a foul, got to the free throw line, knocked down a couple free throws. I think Utah being able to be overly physical with us the entire game caught up with them at the end there, Eric.
Yeah.
Because neither of those were bad calls, but you expect them to call it more during the middle of the game and then let it go more during the end. It was kind of the opposite.
Well, I mean, anytime you are basically pressed up into the body of someone at half court, I mean, it's really hard to avoid not fouling in those situations. So the refs could have called that every time if they wanted to. I thought there was a play, I forgot how much time's left. There was still a couple minutes left where Ant went up for a three, tried to do like the rip through move. And he kind of hung in the air for a second, listening for the whistle, and it didn't come, so he had to pass it. I think that possession might have still worked out for us, but that should have been a foul, and they were in the penalty, so we should have gotten the line then. There's just a lot of stuff like that. I just don't get. Okay, you're allowed the arm bar in the post on defense. You are not allowed to do it on someone trying to drive on you at half court or at the 3-point line. That's an automatic foul if your arm comes up and makes contact on a drive from the outside of the paint. So I just don't understand how they let Clark or Sexton get away with that the whole game. And then the times when Taylor Horton-Tucker got switched on him, he's just standing there with two hands on Ant's hip, like at all times, It's like, how do they let him play defense like that? If we do that, it's like an automatic foul. I
I
never.
know, man. I know. Yeah, it's just like there's certain guys in the league that do it all the time, so they get a pass,
Mm-hmm.
and it's annoying. And Colin Sexton is one of those guys. Patrick Beverley's another one of those guys, and
Yep.
it's frustrating because if Ant decides this possession, I'm going to play defense like Colin Sexton, he's getting called for a foul. Shaden Sharp in this game got called for a few fouls where I was just baffled, and it was like, man, if he even plays 50% as physical as Colin Sexton, Shane Sharp's getting called for a foul where Colin Sexton's allowed to do whatever he wants. That's why that 45-point performance from Ant is even that much more impressive, is because he wasn't getting calls, wasn't getting the trips to the free throw line that he probably should have, and was dealing with so much defensive attention and so much physicality that wasn't being controlled by the refs. This is easily the most impressive performance of his career when you consider what he did offensively, and then he did have a couple big defensive moments.
Yeah, and I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
That's fine. We can toss it over to the team stats.
Before you get there, though,
Hide it. All right. I was already there. Go
we
ahead.
need to talk about something real quick.
All right. What's up?
Nate Jones.
Yeah.
So he tweeted during the game, "What do you think Vanderbilt should cost the team in a hypothetical trade?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
Dame quote tweeted that with the eye emojis.
Dame's riling up the fan base. I mean, I would like this dude on this team. I would like him to be our backup center. I don't see how he's not better at everything than Winslow. Or not Winslow. My bad. I don't see how he's not better. Well, honestly, maybe that, except for the passing and the ball handling. But I don't know how he's not better at everything than Eubanks.
Mm-hmm. Like, I know he's hit the corner threes, though, but wouldn't that make our spacing
If you replaced Eubanks with Vanderbilt?
I guess, yeah.
Like, I want Vanderbilt as our backup center, right? Now, if you can get a stretch five that can do something, like a Nas Reed type, that would be nice. I think he's just good enough to space the floor. But Vanderbilt, man, hitting that three, like, it's funny because we talk about floor spacing. He didn't space the floor. He didn't provide spacing because we left him completely wide open, but he made us pay. If that makes sense. So if his shot doesn't look bad, his form looks okay, and he was shooting it with confidence. He's not going to shoot contested threes or anything, but if he can just make teams pay for completely leaving him, Eubanks isn't going to be able to be out there and knock down wide open threes, right? Or else he probably would. So having that in the center could be nice, but then also just defensively does a lot of things. He also had 4 assists today, 16 points, 7 boards, couple steals, like had a nice play in transition. He handled the ball, took it coast to coast. I think like Dame likes this guy. Dame wants this guy to be a Portland Trailblazer. Like that's something.
Career.
What's up?
Career 62% free throw shooter.
Vanderbilt?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing also, is he's not somebody that shoots the free throw super well, so that's why you wouldn't necessarily guard him from 3. What is he shooting this year, though? Because his shot has improved.
62.5.
Okay, half a percentage. But he doesn't shoot many free throws. That's 1.5 a game. Like, you're fine with that from your backup big. Like, Vanderbilt would be nice on this team, and he would be that switchable backup 5 that the Blazers could play against the small ball Dallas lineup down the stretch, and he could switch instead of Eubanks, who gets cooked.
What's weird though is Utah doesn't play him at the 5 at all. Like he starts with both Markkanen and Olynyk, and then if he's in with the bench lineup, it's been Kessler Walker Kessler, whatever the heck his name is.
Well, that's because they got so many bigs,
Yeah. But I'm saying is like he hasn't really played center this year for them, or they haven't really gone small a lot. Yeah.
I feel like that's his best role as a small ball center, being somebody that can block shots, switch, that sort of thing.
Yeah. The problem is, once again, I think what it costs to get him for what his role would be on this team would be tough to
Yeah,
I don't know
that
how
is
you
the
make
problem.
that work.
That is the problem. So, yeah, just, wanted to talk about that Dame tweet, but I don't think he's somebody that will be a Blazer. It's just fun to think about. But he's a good fit on that team. They got a lot of size, and as Will Chan says in chat, Vanderbilt's a great fit with Laurie and Kelly Olynyk. They're all versatile and mobile. Yeah, it's a big lineup, but one that is still mobile enough to play some okay defense. And then also Markkanen and Olynyk can shoot, so that makes things easier. And then Walker Kessler's just that big shot blocker off the bench. And in this game, Walker Kessler gave Shaedon Sharpe fits. We'll talk about Sharpe in a bit, because we do have graphics and player cards and that sort of thing, so we'll run through those.
Another thing, Vanderbilt is okay at rebounding, but definitely not good at it.
Yeah, neither is Eubanks. So
yeah,
that's the thing is he'd be an upgrade over Eubanks. Is he worth what it would take to give up? I don't know. That's a different conversation depending on what it'd take to give up, but it'd probably be a first, and we are a first next year to Chicago, so we'd have to unprotect it, and I'm not unprotecting the first wheel Chicago next year for Jared Vanderbilt, unless we are for sure making the playoffs, and we are for sure not going to have any chance whatsoever at Victor Wembanyama.
So we have like a 10-game lead on first in the standings in February.
If we're sitting there in first and a 10-game lead on the play-in, then I'd probably consider it. But we'd have to have a major cushion over the play-in and know that the team is good enough, because we do have an easy schedule. And I think March is kind of tough, but it's not as hard as it was to start this year. And if we're healthy and have proven ourselves at that level and have a 10-game cushion or something, then I would trust that this team would make the playoffs. That's just tough. It's like if you end up somehow getting to the play-in, then maybe you have injuries or something and fall out into the lottery. If you don't have your pick because you trade for Jared Vanderbilt and then you get lucky and move up, imagine in the end, any chance there could be a situation where we gave up Victor Wembanyama for Jared Vanderbilt is not anything I want to consider. So that's the tough thing with owing our pick to Chicago next year and it being lottery protected for multiple years, so we can't trade future first.
Dame has now deleted the tweet.
Tampering. Anyway, let's take a look at the team stats. Dame didn't tamper. That wasn't tamper. Does that count as tampering, Eric?
No, players never get in trouble for that.
Yeah, so you're okay, Dame. You didn't have
and
to
it didn't say Blazers. It just said, wonder what a team would give up for him or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So that's fine. That is fair game, Dame. But as we take a look at the team stats, we outshot them from the field. Pretty close numbers there. We shot 40% from three. That was Ant and Grant. What they combined to shoot from three?
Grant was 2 for 5.
Yeah, and Ant was 7 for 12. That's 9 for 17. They combined to shoot over 50% from three again, which is something they did either last game or the game before.
Oh, that reminded me of what I wanted to say earlier.
Cool.
So I was going to say it was not like Ant did it like Jeremy Grant when he had that 44 against New York. But he had 28 free throws in that game. So that makes what Ant did even more impressive because he did it with all that physicality against him and was super efficient without even getting to the line a whole lot of times.
Yep, 8 free throws for him. We did get to the free throw line more. That really changed the second half.
Mm-hmm.
That really changed the second half. The thing is we didn't shoot as well from the field in the second half. Ant wasn't blazing hot in the second half like he was in the first, so that kind of ended up equalizing, and that's why we couldn't run away with this game because we had, 69 points in the first half, which is a nice number to have. So
Casey Holdahl thought it was nice too.
Yeah, nice number to have. But we rebounded well. Didn't get out rebounded by a big Utah team. I thought that was key. We had some struggles rebounding the ball. We still gave up 10 offensive rebounds, but you kind of expect that against this team, whereas some games in the past, it was just too high of a number considering our opponent. So that's nice to see. Turnovers even at 13. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, there was that one possession in the fourth quarter where Sexton got a rebound with it. in the paint and then was able to go back in and get a lay-in out of it. Can't let that happen. And there was another possession.
Did you watch that back? Because I thought he like climbed up Nurkic's back on that. It seemed like somebody just like completely went over the back.
But if who's ever guarding Sexton boxes him out, then he wouldn't have a chance to climb on him. So it's frustrating that we don't box out in those situations. And there was another possession where I think Clarkson missed 2 shots and then got it back a third time and finished. So those were really the only 2 plays that stand out as like horrible rebounding possessions. A couple of their other offensive rebounds were just long rebounds off a missed 3 because Beasley and Clarkson were throwing up bricks all game. And then, so I'm impressed that they found a way to out-rebound them tonight. And then
before we move on from the rebounding, shout out Hyperprime for the $5 dono. He says, is it true that Jeremy Grant became the first power forward in NBA history to score 33 points without a rebound in a game? We would have rebounded better if Jeremy Grant could just box out and collect a freaking rebound.
I mean, that's got to be true, right? I don't see how you can play 37 minutes and have that much time on the court and
not get a rebound.
It's not like
real bad, man.
The Tony Snell, like, I wonder how many when Snell got the all zeros, the famous like meme, like how many minutes was that?
Like 29.
Yeah.
So he is rebounding. Him and Winslow together, like watching them rebound in traffic drives me crazy. Like Winslow's better at it, but Winslow's just not super tall or long or athletic, so he really struggles, whereas Grant is, and he just won't. So when you put both those guys together, it just drives me crazy, because it's like, I wish I could take Jeremy Grant's athleticism and length and give it to Justice Winslow for rebounds, right? No other time do I want to take his length and give it to Justice Winslow, because Jeremy Grant's a better offensive player, but rebounding-wise, it's like one dude who's just physically incapable of, like, truly getting up with the trees, and one guy who is, but just doesn't. And it drives me so crazy.
Well, it would be so much better if it was because Grant was, like, boxing out his guy and that he just didn't go for the rebound and let someone else get it. Yeah. But, like, it's not. He just turns around and is never in a good position, never, like, attacks the glass or, like, jumps for the ball very much. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so, if he would, Didn't Chauncey challenge him to be a better rebounder this year?
That's what he said earlier in the season,
well,
yeah. It was looking like I think he was averaging like 5.5 at one point when he said that, but yeah.
I mean, can I even complain this dude's a forward shooting the way he is, like scoring like an all-star? Like, I can't really complain, you know what I mean? But still, like, nothing is stopping him from being a better rebounder besides himself, so... but, I mean, if he doesn't get a rebound but drops 33 points efficiently, I guess I'll take that. Mm-hmm. I think that's a win in the end.
As the energy warning says, that's why we need Hart in the game. Yeah, they're such good complements for each other with that, because Hart will aggressively go for rebounds and make up for it, so...
Yeah, Hart's the power forward on the boards, Jeremy Grant's the small forward, but then Hart offensively is like a kind of a point forward, and then Grant's kind of a guard. Mm-hmm. Like a big guard, so but that's the thing, is those two guys are so unique. That's why I like those two guys in our starting lineup, and I hope Hart can, once he's back, maybe regain some of his scoring confidence, because man, like that dude, if Hart's on, he has the 5th defender on him. Mm-hmm. He's the 5th guy on the opposing scouting report. He drives well, drives strong, can finish, can knock down threes when he decides that he wants to shoot threes. Like, I'm looking forward to Hart getting back. Maybe these rest days will help him, and just seeing the starting lineup again, especially with Ant playing the way he's been playing lately, and Grant's been playing phenomenal. Like, if these two guys continue playing the way they're playing and Dame comes back, this is easily one of the most talented starting fives in the league. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. Brady says Sharp had a couple of good rebounds too. Yeah,
Hmm.
he had a nice stretch where he got some rebounds in traffic, and that's something that I want to see from him specifically is using that athleticism to do things other than just score around the rim.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about Shaden Sharp when we get
Yep.
to his player card because I
And
had something I noticed from him.
and speaking of that, Charles, we will answer that when we get to Greg Brown's card here in a minute. So we do have player cards tonight. And then also, Bri the Kid asked that again when we get to Grant's player card, and I'll answer that.
I can save these questions in like a Google spreadsheet. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Remind me about the spreadsheet.
All right.
But okay, that's what I'm gonna do. Greg Brown, and then where's Bry's question?
It's about the Grant
The
extension.
Grant contract.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Um, yeah. So the other thing that 13 turnovers, definitely take that, but I think 10 of them were in the second half, so can't be. I mean, that almost cost us the game here tonight with all the turnovers, especially in the fourth quarter. So got to clean that up a little bit. But overall, nice to see them take care of the ball and not, make many mistakes in the first half. Uh, Only 4 fast break points. When Ant was out of the game, I felt like they do such a disservice to that unit by not pushing the ball. So I'd like to see that improve a little bit. But for the most part, they did a good job of keeping Utah out of the paint tonight. And only if you hold them to 42 points in the paint and they only shoot 36.1% from three, I'd take that. I think going into the game.
Yep. Absolutely. Sorry, that froze for. Oh, why am I gone? I didn't mean to go to player cards. Okay, cool. I just loaded in the player cards. That's what I was doing. There's something I was gonna say, but I forgot, man. I do not remember. Dang it. Dang it, I do not remember. We can hop into player cards right now if you want to. Feels a little bit early, but we can.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let me make sure my webcam's working. It's off center for some reason. I guess player cards are broken for the time being. Hold on. Let me fix whatever is going on here.
While you do that, forgive Urban asked any updates on GP2. Nope. But someone asked Casey if he'd be back tomorrow, possibly, and he said no. I think it'll be longer or something like that. So
Week to week or something. I have no idea.
I think we're still at least a couple weeks away, maybe late December. But yeah,
we're gonna have to talk about that later on this stream, kind of near the end. Because I'm starting to get worried. But Anfernee, I mean, we've talked about him all stream. But Anfernee with the fire emojis. Shout out Krish, man. That's the one thing that sucks about getting these graphics automated is won't have Krish's special touch on a game-to-game basis. I'm hoping to have them animated in time for December 8th. We were doing some testing today. Me and Nick, who's helping me code. And then, 45 points, 4 assists, 2 boards, 2 blocks. 2 blocks for Ant in the steal. You love to see it. Lots of minutes, though. 41 minutes and on a first night of a back-to-back. So, Dame, is he for sure returning tomorrow?
I mean, it's not for sure yet, but all indications are that he's locked in and ready to play. So I'd be surprised if he didn't. The only thing you could say is if, since the Blazers won tonight, maybe they think they could get away with resting him and then we don't play again, I think, until, Thursday or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they just give him an extra 4 days rest because we won tonight. But from what I heard, it's that they want to play him at least a little bit tomorrow night and then see how his calf is over that 3-day break and then judge from there whether they should get him back to full play again or just keep managing it or maybe sit him out a little longer. So I think he's going to try and play and just see how his calf reacts after the game.
Gotcha. And I just remembered that I actually have screenshots from a play that I want to go over as far as Ant, so I'm loading that up here as we speak. And if you are just tuning in, the majority of the stream has been hyping up Anfernee Simons, so you've already missed a lot of the Anfernee Simons hype, but once again, phenomenal game from him. And then shout out Jordan Baker, back again with the $5 GG sticker. Hopefully we get a lot more of those in the month of December. Jordan, thank you for the $5 donation. Appreciate your hippopotamus. Anyway.
Thanks, Jordan.
I just got to make sure these clips will sort correctly.
Kevin H says you guys are so much happier when they win. Yeah, no kidding. We're diehard fans.
Yeah. If you don't think we're Blazer fans.
Yeah. I mean, some of you might be new. I've said this many times. I am not ashamed to say this. I am absolutely affected, my mood, just like my life, by how the Blazers do, and I get mad and wear my heart on my sleeve and stuff like that. So yeah. I mean, I don't like take it out on people or anything, but like, you know, I'm down when they lose, and I'm excited when they win. That wasn't even the Blazers.
That was the Niners, right? Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's a lot more fun to we'll stream no matter what, but it is more fun to take a couple days off, take a little mental break, and then talk about a win, man. It's, we had some bad vibes there in November, but we knew November was going to be tough. Came out of there still with a 500 record. This guy wasn't falling, and now we move forward, and things are looking up. But, all right, let me jump into this. So, I wanted to break down an Anfernee Simons, this play at the end of the first quarter. Let me make sure I have the right hotkeys set for this. Cool. So this play really impressed me because I think it's kind of the evolution of Anfernee Simons. And I love this action that they run on this play. It's Grant and Simons. Grant running off this... Simons running off this Grant pick. And it's set up in a way where Ant can basically just run off it going downhill and force a switch. Because obviously you can't leave Jeremy Grant. He's shooting the 3-ball too well. So Utah ends up having to switch this, or else Anfernee has a straight line drive to the rim. Beasley's too far out of the play. But what Simons does here is kind of like the next evolution. He's been so hot from 3 that he's being run off the line. He has such a quick release that it's hard to guard. It kind of reminds me of Steph Curry. You don't want to just compare guys to Steph Curry, but I think Steph Curry's the only player in the league that has more threes than him this year. And what Steph Curry does is he uses that quick release to get guys playing out on him. So I like what Simons does here. He knows he doesn't have the angle, knows he's been hot from 3. Markkanen actually did a good job cutting him off, but he actually stops here and brings the ball back. Does this little, between the legs, stepping back towards the 3-point line, and he doesn't even hesitate or pump fake, but Markkanen is so scared of him shooting and knows he has a quick release, he basically rises out of his stance. If you see here, both of his feet, if you watch the clip, are kind of coming off the floor here, and Ant's ready to attack. So he didn't even throw in a hesi, didn't even get behind the 3-point line, didn't pump fake or anything, but the threat of his 3-point shot is so lethal that Markkanen is just already biting it in nothing here. So that little move right there gives Anfernee Simons that baseline drive. So that's what Steph does well, is he will he doesn't even have to hesitate necessarily. He just utilizes the threat of his 3-point shot to open up driving lanes and whatnot. So opens up the driving lane, goes baseline. But this is one of my favorite finishes of the year, because most of the time when a guy's going baseline here, Eric, where are you expecting them to finish?
At the rim, or off the backboard, or go reverse lane, maybe if Kessler gets there in time. Yep,
exactly. So everything's right around the rim or on the backboard, right? So most help defenders will play right around the rim, will rotate towards the rim. And if you watch Walker Kessler, he will rotate towards the rim, he's under the rim right now. And that's a legitimate shot blocker, true 7-footer. Instead of going up and probably getting his shot blocked, Markkanen is playing him to go up strong. Kessler's there to maybe block him if he goes up strong, and he certainly can't reverse it close to the backboard because Walker Kessler's there. Anfernee Simons throws in the wrong foot offhand hook shot from the baseline. This is the level of creativity that stars have, is when their main options are cut off, they get creative and they finish plays. So this little step towards the middle, jumping off his left foot with his left hand, in finishing there was super impressive to me. Maybe my favorite finish of the year, because of how creative it was, the offhand, that takes some skill. The fact that he's able to do it on balance as well, and it goes down. So I love that whole entire play, because I think that shows the next evolution of Anfernee Simons being able to utilize the threat of his three-point shot even more, and then being able to go downhill and not be rushed, not have to, yeah, he's a great athlete and everything, but finishes like these are the ones that if he gets this level of creativity down around the rim, he will be impossible to stop, because you can't let him shoot. He's quick enough to get by you, and that I don't know how you guard this as a help man. You can't. Mm-hmm. You can't guard that. He wasn't sped up. Kind of even took his time with this layup, was under control. That's the next evolution of Anfernee Simons right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know why we're on Trent Watford's graphic now. But the hotkeys were the same. That's why. Let's get back to where we were. There we go. We had Anfernee. So anyway, I just wanted to break down that play. Thought that was a really impressive play and kind of shows the next level of his ascension.
Nice.
Anyway, are you proud of me, Eric? I'm living up to you.
Good job.
Thank you. Anyway, let's move on to Jeremy Grant. 33 points, 5 assists. We've talked a bit about him. What do you think of his kind of offensive game outside of, drawing the fouls? Just like some of the shots he took, the mid-ranges. He did make a 3, so that's wrong. He was 2 for 5 from 3. Krish is rusty. He hasn't been doing graphics much, but 2 for 5 from 3, 10 for 18 from the field. What did you think of his offensive game today?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I still don't like how both him and Nurk get pushed out so far in the post and have to make much tougher shots, but Jeremy's been making them. I do think sometimes he settles for like contested 18-footers sometimes, but tonight he starts off hitting them again, and if he's got confidence, then he's hitting them. Like it's tough to block. Like you compared it to LaMarcus earlier. He has such a high release point that I don't think it's bad or anything that he shoots some of those, especially with the way our offense has gotten stagnant without Dame. So, I like when he attacks the basket, but just made some tough shots tonight, and we needed all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. That one he had, it was so impressive.
Yeah, the turnaround.
Yeah, that baseline one. Yeah. Because it's harder to turn that direction. It's easier to turn when you're like turning like this than if you're turning like this, because a lot of shooters like to shoot with their right shoulder in front of their left. Dame, Ant, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, like all of them shoot with their right, not this far forward, I'm just kind of illustrating it, but they shoot with their right shoulder forward, so it's easier to turn here because this is where they want to be. They already kind of want to be turned this way, so that shot was really impressive, turning that direction. A lot of guys, when you see them turn that direction, they'll have like this leg kick and it's trying to swing their shoulder so that it's lined up with the hoop. When you can jump that high, it's a little easier to do that. And he got off the ground on that turnaround fadeaway. Very impressive shot. But he's just stepped up and made big plays. And he kind of struggled from the line throughout this game. But in the final minute, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. Stepped up, hit clutch free throws.
He's become a free throw merchant, man. I love it. We need free throw merchants. That's one thing. Like, that's the difference between like a super efficient player and a volume scorer. And so far this year, he's been less of the volume scorer that he was in Detroit, and more of like an efficient role player, but in a star role. And the free throws are a big reason why, I think. And if he continues to get to the line at the pace he's getting, I think that's going to put even more pressure on the defense.
Yep, absolutely. Yusuf Nurkic had 15 points.
Before we move on, let's talk about that question.
Yeah. I was like, we're going to need this a lot later in stream, and then we immediately hopped into player cards. So,
Yeah.
Charles A. Smith, or no, it was Bry. Bry, the kiddo, said, "You guys think Grant is worth the 112 over 4 years extension, Eric? $112 million over 4 years. Is Grant worth that?"
This may surprise some people, but I actually think that would be a bargain for us now. When we first made the trade, I thought like if we could maybe get it, 4 years, 90, 4 years, 96 million, maybe, I'd be fine with that. But yeah, absolutely. And that, for the record, so I think it's January 7th is the 6-month date when he can officially sign the extension. Keith Smith just had an article the other day kind of breaking this down even further on Spot Track. But I think the only reason that wouldn't happen now, in Keith's article, it did say that the Blazers were going to wait to see how the experiment worked first. Everything I've heard from the moment in April when I told you guys that he was going to be a Blazer is that they had already agreed to the extension and they knew it would work out. Like they weren't waiting to see anything like this. And if anything, it would make it worse. So the only things that could change that, knock on wood, injury. And of course, Jeremy could decide that he wants to pursue an even bigger contract in the offseason. If he keeps playing like this, that you definitely couldn't blame him for that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if you're talking about a forward that, like, we've talked about his struggles on the ball against guards and like getting through screens, but otherwise he's a good defensive player that averages 23 points per game, can do stuff off the dribble, and then shoot threes like he has this year. I mean, that sounds like a max player to me. He's averaging 22.7 points per game after this game, Eric. He is playing heavy minutes, but the question was, if he's not the number one guy, how does he function? How does he fit? How well does he play? Is he back to like OKC Denver where he's just like a 14, 15 point per game scorer, 16 maybe, kind of in that range? Or is he still able to be a guy that, takes the right shots and is able to be a 20 point per game scorer still? I think he's answered that question. He's averaging almost 23. Right now he's currently averaging a career high in points per game. And he's doing it because he's shooting the lights out from three and then also getting to the free throw line. That's what stars do. So he's definitely an all-star caliber talent right now.
Yeah, I mean, part of that is because Dame's missed 12 games, so both him and Ant have had a little bit more of a bump in scoring than they would had Dame played the whole season. But your overall point, even when Dame was healthy, he was contributing and scoring at a large clip and being guy, that outlet that they've needed for years when their guards get pressured.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, Dame played in the Dallas game, the game that they lost in Dallas, and Jeremy was 13 for 22. Like, Dame was kind of struggling during that time. Against San Antonio, Dame played. Jeremy was 9 for 15, 6 for 8 from 3, 29 points. And that's the thing with Dame is Jeremy will get even better three-point looks. When Dame and Ant have both played, Jeremy has gotten some phenomenal three-point looks. And he's hit contested threes this year. He's also hit open threes this year. You don't want to leave that guy open. We've always talked about how any forwards that come here with Dame and CJ here will get good three-point looks. Well, now you have a dude that's a phenomenal shooter, and he's probably a good enough shooter where you might have to live with Ant or Dame beating you than giving him wide open threes. It's basically pick your poison. So yeah, he's an all-star caliber talent. It depends on the Blazers record whether or not he'll make the all-star game, but that's the thing with the all-star game is it's so dependent upon who gets hurt and which team is better and how much talent you have in a conference at a specific position. That's why I say all-star caliber player instead of just saying this dude's an all-star, he's an all-star, blah, blah, blah. Because the all-star game is not the best way to gauge how a player's playing. We have 3 legitimate all-stars on this team, and both all-stars can step up and look like superstars on any given night. I mean, where do you think our big 3 ranks in the league right now, Eric?
I mean, it's right up there. It's still, I don't know. It's tough once again. I know we talked about this the last stream, but I haven't really thought about it since.
Yeah.
But I do think, I mean, obviously we need Dame healthy to fully judge, but um, yeah, it's up there with some of the best.
Yep. I mean, if this team fights back to being near the top of the West when the All-Star game rolls around, you could be talking about 3 All-Stars. The problem is for Ant is the West is absolutely loaded with guards. I'm not even sure Dame will make it if he misses a little bit more time because you have so many phenomenal guards.
It's possible as of right now that Ant makes it over Dame if things keep up, which would be crazy.
Because Ant's averaging 24.8 points per game after this one. I mean, that's all-star numbers, and he's doing it efficiently. So that's the thing is I try and not worry about all-star selections so much, but it would be cool to see multiple Blazers to an all-star game for sure.
Well, one important note with the all-star games at the end of February, and that extension, like I said, is January 7th. So you couldn't even, if you're Grant, you don't even know if you're going to be an all-star yet, luckily at that time, because maybe some of the fan voting trickles in, but that won't be favorable to any Blazers like normal. So yeah, we're gonna be in a situation where it's going to be completely up to Jeremy Grant. The minute we're able to, we will offer him that 4 years, $112 million. And I don't know, like, because outside the Lakers, if they'd have to basically decide to not help LeBron at his age this year and look for cap space next summer. So I guess they could be players, but outside of that, there aren't many teams that aren't similar to the Detroit situation that he would be leaving a better team to just go to a rebuilding team for more money. So I don't really see him just waiting for this summer. And I don't see him at this point after doing that 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever that was. I don't see him making that same decision again. I think he's matured.
I am not worried about him leaving Portland.
Yeah.
He right now he is that guy. He has 2 other guys on his team that are also that guy, and he's putting up the best stats of his career, playing his way into the biggest payday of his career, and it's on a team that could go on a run. Mm-hmm. And he's friends with Dame. He wanted to come here in the first place without knowing exactly how this was going to pan out. I am not worried about him. Like he'll be in a Blazer uniform next year. You know, knock on wood, because I don't want to jinx anything. Blah 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 blah. You know, all that stuff. But I don't see how he would leave. I don't see why.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of gets. I mean, I don't think this would happen, but if he doesn't sign the extension and, you know, we give him close to a max contract, then, I mean, we're talking our salary being way above the luxury tax next summer.
If Jody's sitting there, like, complaining about that, then at that point, I mean, maybe you have to cap dump Nurk and get a good, cheap big that doesn't do anything, too special, but, is just serviceable, because you don't even need a big who does a whole lot. You need him to be able to, like, make something happen out of the short roll, whether it's one dribble, dunk, or just make a basic pass out of the short roll, because you have 3 stars that are going to get a lot of attention. So you're going to see double teams, going to see traps. So just as long as a big that can do that, can finish okay, and can protect the rim a bit, like is a solid defensive player, then, I mean, that's fine. I think Nurkic does things that other bigs don't that help this team. One of them being screen setting, which helped Ant get going. And then I think his rebounding is really good. So, I'm not sitting here saying we should dump Nurk for just a $5 million a year big man or anything. I like Nurk. But that's the thing is you prioritize guys like this, and you pay guys like this before you pay a center that's not a Joel Embiid or a Nikola Jokic or somebody of that caliber.
Yeah. And I guess I'll wait till the next player card to say what I was going to say about what Ant said about a certain player after the game.
Well, that certain player is Yusuf Nurkic, who honestly statistically had a pretty good game. I thought he had a worse game than this statistically. 15 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, only 1 turnover, 6 for 12 from the field, including 6 for 11 from 2 and missed the only 3 he took up against the shot clock buzzer. Did miss 3 of his 6 free throws, but played 39 minutes, only 4 fouls in those 39 minutes, was able to give us huge minutes with Drew Eubanks out. Funnily enough, I haven't heard many people complaining about fouls this year, which is nice. Yeah, he was solid today.
He was a monster on the defensive boards there. Had a huge offensive rebound. I think he might have missed both free throws on that one, but there was a possession where he got us an extra shot on that. Didn't have as Charles points out, didn't have a backup tonight, at least a true center. Yeah, I can't believe how many minutes he played. That's a ton for him. Don't think that's necessarily a good thing long term, but tonight we needed him with all the injuries. And I think the point I was going to make earlier was after the game, Anfernee made it a point to point out that Nurk sets the best screens in the league, in his opinion, and was a big reason why Ant got 45 points.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a dude who's hot, right? These teams, like, how do you defend a player who's hot? You send a second body his way, you trap him off pick and rolls, you get the ball out of his hands. But when you have somebody that says screens super well, it basically takes Ant's initial defender out of the play at times. And then he's matched up against a big man. If he's coming up to trap, and if he's late at all, or if he gives a gap to split, or if he doesn't play it perfectly, Ant's going to pick that apart. If he drops, which Utah was doing in the first half and didn't adjust, it was silly, Ant's going to go off from 3 off the pick and roll. So it basically makes it so you have to be really good getting through that screen in order to keep tabs on a guy, and there's really nothing you can do as a defense outside of just like running at him as a big man. But it's just hard to do that effectively. It's hard to ask your bigs not to do that and foul. Like, Nurkic creates problems with his screen setting that other bigs don't, and it's so underrated because when a Dame or an Ant gets hot, they're still able to have the space in order to make things happen that defenses are trying to take away from them because they are hot.
Mm-hmm. And on defense, he had that. I think they hit a contested 3 on this possession, but he had one like really hard show on a pick and roll and completely stopped Clarkson from getting anywhere.
Just stonewalled him. Perfect.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was like, where has that been all season? And then, of course, they hit a 3 with a hand in the face. But, yeah.
Well, also,
I love seeing that.
He had a huge defensive possession in crunch time. On the inbounds, when the Blazers were up 1, they inbounded to Markkanen kind of rolling over the top towards the baseline. Markkanen never really fully caught the ball, but Nurkic did a great job. I don't know if that's who Nurkic was originally guarding, but Nurkic did a great job just sliding with him, like being physical enough, which I think caused Markkanen to lose the ball, but not fouling at the same time. Keeping his hands off, keeping his hands up, but creating enough contact with his chest so that Markkanen was not able to turn the corner, was not able to handle the ball, and ended up forcing that turnover. He doesn't get a steal for it because Markkanen just dribbles out of bounds, but that was a huge defensive play from Jusuf Nurkic. That's the type of plays that he'll make, the positional ones. The show in Stonewall the guard, the being there on the catch and sliding with the Lauri Markkanen. There's a couple other impressive defensive plays he had in this game. Yes, it's not as flashy as beating the ball off the backboard and almost breaking the glass, right? But it gets the job done. So I think Nurkic's defense, it's not sexy or anything, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So solid game from him. There's a few plays where he missed shots on the interior that even had me frustrated. But I mean, 6 for 11, you'll kind of take that. He hasn't finished the best this year, but there's other things he does to make up for it.
He had that one late in the fourth quarter where he caught the ball pretty good, almost his best post position of the game. and he just went like he rushed his shot. If he just takes his time and goes up strong there, I think he probably scores easily. But he just kind of turned around and did a quick hook shot and missed it. But
Yeah, I don't really blame him. The way the floor was laid out,
yeah,
I think he just assumed they're gonna collapse hard on me, and he was already in the paint for a second or two. So a lot of times when he like seems like he's rushing a shot in the paint, it's because he's catching the ball after being in the paint for 2 seconds. You can't get offensive 3 seconds, so he basically has to shoot the ball. Because obviously you're not, once he shoots the ball, there's no offensive 3 seconds. So
that just reminded me of that one where he took the like Michael Jordan turnaround shot.
It was straight. It was just very long.
Yeah, that was at the end of the shot clock too. And like he got the ball in the post with like 5 seconds, I think, on the shot clock.
It had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So I don't even blame him for that miss. So 6 for 10 from 2. All right. But I was like, if this shot goes in, this is maybe the most shocking shot of the night. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Watford got the start. 9 points, 14 boards, an assist, a block, 4 for 8 from the field. He was much better in the second half than he was in the first half, I thought. What'd you think of him?
Yeah, he was okay. Still making some mistakes. That one, was it him that had that? So he had that really nice play where they were overplaying Ant, and he faked the handoff. He's been doing that, a couple times a game.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he like got into right in the middle of the paint, and then he throws it right into the hands of the defender.
No,
yeah, it's because like we never lob and we never throw the bounce pass. You just dump it off or go get one more step towards the rim and then pass it. I don't know. Like
on that pass, you don't even touch it with 2 hands, and you definitely don't throw a chest pass. Fake the handoff, drive middle, and he's driving right, and Nurkic is to his right. And Nurkic's defender helps on him. You're dribbling the ball with your right hand. Just throw a bounce pass. Like, the ball comes to your hand, and you're about to dribble it, and the defender steps up. Turn that dribble into a pass. Just push the ball. You know what I mean? Like, it's quick, and defenders can't react in time. Like, the second he starts stepping up to you, turn that dribble into a bounce pass. Instead, he, like, picked up his dribble, brought it to his chest, and tried to throw a chest pass. The defender's hand is right there. So that's the thing is he can make plays happen off the dribble, and he throws some passes where it's like good vision or good pass placement. He should get more creative with how he throws some of his passes, because I feel like the one thing that struggles with his passing is he kind of will telegraph things or not throw it quick enough. And that was like one of those plays where he picks up his dribble with both hands, even though he could just, bounce and then bounce pass with his right hand. Doesn't even have to bring his second hand to it. That's the pass he should be throwing. That's the type of stuff he needs to learn, instead of like picking it up with 2 hands, turning, and then making a pass. Because you don't got time for that. In college and high school, his entire life, he's had time for that type of pass, right? But in the NBA, you got to make it quick. And you got to be able to react quickly and throw it in the blink of an eye. And that's the only way you get that done.
Yeah, he also smoked a leg. But he did have a couple of tough finishes.
He has plays that are really bad and then plays that are really impressive, and it's just like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I mean, he was huge on the rebounding tonight. Outside of Nurk, I think he was our only consistent rebounder on the defensive end, at least. And so yeah, not bad. I mean, it's tough. He got cooked on defense. That was part of our problem in the first half.
Yeah.
But
there was a couple of plays where he stepped up and had like a perfect defensive possession. It's like, dang, dude, can we have more of that, man? Like, that's the thing with what I said. We'll have some like really impressive plays and then some really terrible plays. And defensively, I thought he was pretty terrible tonight. But there's a couple of times where he stepped up, and I think one of them was like he helped like on somebody's guy who was going to have a lay-in. It wasn't even his rotation, but he prevents a lay-in by just like rotating super quickly and recognizing what was happening super quickly. And then I don't remember what his block was, but I remember being impressed by it. So I don't know what to think of him, man. Well, he needs to be more consistent.
It's like not even his fault, because I mean, we're starting the game with like him and Winslow and Grant and
Yeah.
like someone's gonna have to guard Clarkson at some point, and he got switched on him a couple times and got blown by. But it's hard to blame him for that because he's just not quick enough on quick guards like that. But other than
where
that,
he would look good? Playing for Utah with their bigs that can shoot.
mm-hmm.
Because, like, Markkanen played the 3 last year. Like, if you paired it with, like, Markkanen and Olynyk,
yeah,
defensively it'd probably be rough, but he just needs more shooting around him, I think, to be a little better offensively, to give him the space to drive, because he's not going to drive like Ant or Dame does or Grant, you know what I mean? Like, he needs a little bit more space. With the lack of space, it gets kind of rough for him to do anything off the dribble. And he's not super good in tight quarters, so that's another reason why if we're going to play him consistently, it would be nice to get another shooter off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna go watch back his block on NBA.com because I just want to see it because I forget it.
Eyes the paint, drives on the big.
I thought it was muted. Oh yeah, that was the same play. Yeah, like Sharp got beat and he was one pass away and he rotated over and blocked that shot. I guess that was the same play I was talking about, but that was a really impressive defensive possession from him. Anyway, let's move on and talk about Greg Brown III. Where's the 3, Chris? He's not just Greg Brown. He's Greg Brown III, and he hit a 3 from the corner, 1 for 3 from 3. Had 4 rebounds, 6 points. Also had a blocked shot, I believe, in this game. I don't know if it registered. He definitely had a block, didn't he?
I don't remember.
They didn't give him a block in this game. I swear he had a block in this game, man.
I don't know.
Chat, am I tripping? I don't know.
Are you thinking of Jabari?
No, I know Jabari had a block, but I also thought Greg Brown had a block. Didn't he block a 3-pointer? I don't remember. I thought he had a block, but Greg Brown played 18 minutes and actually helped us. Came in and had a couple really impressive defensive possessions. That's not even on Chris, Andrew, because they didn't give him a block. He's just going based off the box score. I swear he had a block, but I could be absolutely tripping. I've been known to trip from time to time, just like the start of the stream where I had you muted for a good 5 seconds when I tossed it over to you. But he helped us. He played some good defense in this game. Slid his feet well, positionally sound, and then knocked down a 3. Had that super impressive dunk, which looked insane in real time. Like, watching the game, I was confused as to how he even dunked that ball. That was a really good drive from him. I mean, you don't expect anything from Greg Brown, so for him to come in against a decent team after not being with us, he just got back off his G League stint, and he helped us at times, was a really big positive.
Yeah, there was that 3 in the bottom left corner where Olynyk went to shoot, and I think Greg Brown fouled him, but I guess that should have been a block. Maybe.
Rim. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm probably wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he did a nice job. There was one play where he gets a little too aggressive sometimes. He moves his feet like really well, and then he just reaches in and stuff. That was one of the things I was mentioning earlier. Greg had that problem a little bit, but there was a possession where he was on Clarkson and kept in front of him the whole time and then fouled him at the end. But overall, yeah, I mean, anytime you get positive contributions from Greg, I think you'll take it. And like one of his 3s he missed was at the end of the quarter. We had a nice ball movement to swing the ball to the corner, and he missed it. The other one, like you mentioned earlier, got the rebound and put it in on an air ball. And then that and one he had was really important because I think we had lost the lead at that point or something, and things were looking a little like, oh man, here we go again. And yeah, I think he comes in, he just plays hard, and I mean that's all you can ask for someone like that, even if you're not the most talented player. Just go in and try your best, and like his like, I don't know, just his aura is contagious, I feel like. And
you think that's why we were struggling during that stretch? We didn't have Greg Brown aura.
I mean, it's kind of a joke, but he is one of the guys that is always up cheering on the bench and stuff like that. It's important to have guys like that.
Yeah, to energize you, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he's kind of like, I don't mean this in a negative way. It's going to come across negative, but he's kind of goofy on the court, but like lovable in a lovable way, So like that when you're providing effort and you're goofy, like, I don't know. I feel like if he makes a good play, it just energizes the team.
Yep. And then there was a question from Charles A. Smith earlier. He says, how do you feel about Greg Brown minutes with the heavy forward lineup of Watford, Justice, and Grant?
I mean, tonight we didn't really have many options, but I felt like he was fine. I don't think he was bad tonight. And like I said, he's moving his feet well on defense. Like, you could maybe make the case that he could possibly be our best point of attack defender. I know it seems crazy.
Yeah, at least for the forward spot, because he can slide his feet and he's skinny enough to get through screens. So yeah, good defensive performance. Yeah, are you laughing because of the whole shadow band thing?
Yeah.
Which does,
yeah.
I mean,
if you were a shadow band, how can we see your comments, man?
Yeah, this dude saying he's shadow banned and was just like, F you, blah, 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 blah. Well, what's your main account? What'd you do? What'd you do wrong? Let us know. We don't ban people for the hell of it. But go ahead and cuss us out or something. Anyway, let's move on to Shaden Sharp. 3 for 11, 0 for 1 from 3. He had a rough game. He's kind of had a rough stretch here. What do you think of Sharp today?
I don't know. I thought his body language was a little better today. But I mean, he definitely got for the first time, I think, like, oh crap, I can't just use my athleticism around the rim. Walker Kessler was in his head. Yeah. So yeah. He's got to find a way to do that, and I thought he did. I think he missed the shot, but he pump faked or held the ball up and then spun and got a shot. But yeah. Yeah, it's funny. It's hard to talk in.
You're multitasking with the chat reading and the focusing. It's actually quite well done.
Just type what your name is. If you have a problem, type what your name is. If you refuse to type it, you obviously got banned for a reason. So
yeah. Trust me, like, we don't just ban people for the hell of it.
Yeah, see, still refusing.
He won't even say his name. You're trolling, man. All right, well, okay. All right. But
I mean, I'm hoping he learns from those moments where he attacked the rim. I mean, it's not very often someone's going to block his shot on a dunk. So yeah, I like to see it.
Yeah, he needs to get better at reading the shot blocker. Is what he needs to do. Because he gets blocked too much. Yeah. He gets blocked too much where he's just going straight into the shot blocker and doing nothing to create contact to maybe get the shot off or whatever. He really struggles seeing that second defender, and he really struggles reading the game at the NBA level. And that's what you'd expect out of somebody that didn't play in college is, the game moves so much faster than high school or even some of the, international play that he's participated in. So it's going to take him some time to be able to read the game when it's moving as fast as it is. I want him to start with reading that shot blocker because he can beat his initial defender, but it's almost like the book is out on him that he's not going to pass. You can send multiple guys his way. When Ant was hot, Ant wasn't able to get any space off the ball. The only time he did, Sharp was driving and like 3 guys started running at Sharp. And I think it was almost because the scouting report is that this dude doesn't read the game super well, doesn't know when to pass. So anyway, if he learns how to do that, then yeah, sorry, we're distracted. We should get distracted by that. But anyway, moving on. Justice Winslow, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 2 points. Points is 4th, and then a block. 1 for 3 from the field in 39 minutes. What'd you think of Justice?
He was okay.
Yeah. I want to hear you talk about maybe some of the struggles in this game, because normally that's me.
In the first half, there were a couple times, Markkanen's 2 threes in the first half were both him just abandoning Markkanen for no reason and not getting out fast enough. I feel like at times he doesn't put a hand up enough, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 5 assists is nice. He didn't make a cut in the first half, and Nurk had a pass that got deflected out of bounds, and Chauncey got Nurkic on it. Or Chauncey got on Nurkic about it, but Justice needs to cut at the right times. There was times in this game where he cut when he shouldn't have. There's also times he made the right cut in his one bucket. He made the right cut on, got a shot on the interior. I don't know. I don't want to talk a whole lot about Justice Winslow. He did some good things in this game. And I thought his defense looked better. He played with a little bit more energy. But overall, he, I don't know. I still can't get over his lack of floor spacing, lack of shooting. I think it makes things harder, especially when you have some other guys out on the court that can't shoot threes, and you have a guy who's hot like Ant, and guys can just leave Justice Winslow to go bother Ant.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, moving on, we got Jabari Walker, 4 rebounds, a block, 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. What'd you think of your guy, the Rook, today?
I mean, he struggled mightily in this one, outside of that block he had. And then on the other end, he hustled back down and actually tipped the ball to where Watford could get it. So we ended up with 2 points out of a possession. So that play was good. He struggled. For the first time today, I saw him making a lot of defensive mistakes. But this is also part of the reason why I wanted him to play when we were needing people earlier in the season. So, like, if we needed him, yes, I understand. If you have the next man up mentality, you have to step up when you get the opportunity. No doubt about that. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like he's not comfortable out there, and he's a rookie, of course, so he's not going to be fully comfortable. But if he had been playing minutes since the Phoenix game when he actually contributed, like this whole time, whether it be 5 or 10 minutes a game, or some games, you don't have to play, but when we've had a lot of injuries, he should definitely get a shot. I feel like I don't know. It's hard because I feel like he now has come in as like, oh man, if I don't play well, I'm not going to see the court again once people are healthy, and that can be tough for a young player. And everything he said, he's had the right mindset, but it's hard to not think about that when you finally get an opportunity after a long time of not getting it, when you probably thought you should have maybe gotten some minutes over some players that weren't performing for a while, and then you're also watching your starters getting run into the ground. So I don't know. It doesn't excuse his performance tonight. He wasn't very good. But I also would like to see if he got more consistent minutes and a more defined role, if he would have been, playing better by now.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see his missed dunk where he got shoved?
Yeah.
He just needs to go off 1 there. I don't know why he went off 2. Because, he got shoved and it should have been a foul, but also it's hard to keep your balance when you're running straight at a sprint and then you try and jump off 2. So I felt like the shove wasn't maybe as much as it looked like. Just go off 1 there. If he goes off 1 and gets shoved, he still finishes that play, and maybe it's an and 1. I thought that was kind of a weird decision on that fast break, but it was a good take. I like that he took the ball strong. Just would prefer for him to go off one foot there. Let's move on and talk about... oh, no, that's it for the player cards. Was there somebody we missed? I feel like we missed someone.
No, I think we only had, 8 guys tonight? Yeah, we only had 8 people play, so...
Yeah. Anyway.
No, we got to everyone. Yep.
We got to everyone. All right, we'll take questions for a bit, and then we'll go through Brandt's breakdown, or we'll go through around the NBA, and then your breakdown. You only have one play. So, we can do that whenever. But we'll take some questions. I'm trying to figure out if this guy was actually, banned, because we don't have a shadow ban. We just ban people after multiple warnings. We give people warnings. We don't just ban out of the blue. And I don't see this dude's name on the banned list, so I don't know what the issue is. But yeah, I don't.
He's been he's getting mad at us for possibly no reason.
Yeah, he just cussed us out in chat. So I don't know. We don't need to focus too much on it. It's just was kind of wild. But yeah, we don't just shadow ban people for the hell of it. We want people in here talking about the game. Why would we just shadow ban somebody for the hell of it? We can't even shadow ban. We can ban people from chat, and then their chats won't show up. We can also put people in 5-minute timeouts. That's our 2 options. All right. We haven't talked much about chat moderation because we haven't really had to this year, Eric. It's actually been pretty straightforward and pretty respectful, So we used to have a lot more drama in the past, a lot more trolls, that sort of thing. But yeah, as far as our chat stuff goes, all we ask is that you be respectful of other people. You can argue with other people, attack other people's arguments, but not attack people themselves. No personal attacks. Don't spam the same thing over and over again. Don't, come here and try and self-promote, a random YouTube video about anime or something. I don't know. So unless you're Zach gets a pass for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But we'll give warnings and 5-minute timeouts. That's what I tell my mods to do. So Aeromancer, Trevin, Connor, Jackson, Krish is a mod. He helps with graphics, and Zach's a mod. So, they do a good job keeping it clean and keeping it respectful. Connor, yeah, you missed the fun. But anyway, we'll take questions. Any questions you like in chat, Eric, feel free to answer them. Hyperprime says Tori knows about anime. I know that Zach likes anime. That's it. But I watched a volleyball anime once, and it was very, very strange. Anyway,
what?
Let's not. Yeah. It was. I don't know. Talk about basketball.
Yeah. Half Daddy asked what are the chances of Dame playing tomorrow? 30-70. I think it's more like 60% he'll play. I'm almost confident enough to tweet that he will play.
Yep.
But like I said, winning tonight might have them rest him. I don't know. That's the only reason why I'd say 40% chance he doesn't is just because maybe they, with a few days off after this game tomorrow, that maybe they're just going to give him it's almost an extra week. So, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, Aeromancer explaining how it became a mod. Yeah, I've talked to Aeromancer, though, in our mock-off seasons and stuff, and he's in chat all the time. So, yeah, I offered him the newest mod spot. Pretty happy with our mod group overall. Let's see here.
Drew always asks me off stream, can you see my chats? Am I banned? I'm like, no, dude.
We literally responded to one of his chats a couple streams ago.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I went and looked at all the banned accounts, and yeah, that dude's main account isn't even on our banned account, so he's coming in and cussing us out for literally no reason. But that's cool. So anyway,
Tori and I mod the mods.
Yeah, and nobody moderates us. Maybe we need somebody to moderate us. Which one of you wants to moderate us?
No, we're not giving that power to anybody here. It would have to be someone that doesn't watch our show or something so they can remain impartial.
Yeah. For when me and Eric argue about Keegan Murray, we needed a moderator. But what does a mod do? They help keep chat clean. Should be Beavis. What's up, Brad? They help keep chat clean, and they moderate our Discord as well. If you're not in our Discord, we'll turn this into a productive plug here. Join our Discord. I will plug a link in chat, and there's also a link in the description box below the video. So join our Discord. We have game threads there every game. I'm pretty active in there. If you're into gaming, I like to play games and meet some of you guys through gaming. I've met a lot of you guys through playing video games, that sort of thing, and it's a cool way to, just meet some of you guys. I'm definitely active in there, so check out our Discord. And check out our TikTok. We just launched that. Gonna do probably a short or two tomorrow. Short form videos. Gonna try and do more of that. And yeah. Anyway, in the future, I plan to have like videos for plugs, so I don't have to sit here and like, oh, what do I plug, and then be all, I don't know, disjointed when I plug it. I want to have like actual ad videos that look good and isn't completely disjointed, but it's just still getting around to this. Anyway, Eric, go ahead.
Connor says we keep chat from being out of pocket, unlike Kevin Calabro tonight when he said that he wanted Greg Brown to bounce for him, baby.
And you had Casey Holdall saying nice after 69 points. Yeah, everybody was wilding today, Eric. Everybody was wild and out. Guys, Tori's just a person, real person, not scary. Brady, you're funny, man. Yes, I am a real person. But yeah, we'll take some more questions. We'll go around the NBA. I'm excited to look at scores, the standings, then we'll do your breakdown. And then
here's another question. Your Blazer fan says, do you find anything suspicious about how they handled everything this year in regards to GP2 and his health, especially since preaching that we were going to be so transparent?
Oh yeah, I said we were going to have that conversation. Yeah, kinda. Like right now, I just don't think they know, which has me worried. I think the fact that they kept it a secret for 2 months was lame. But now I think it's a situation where his soreness isn't completely going away, in the fact that he had this surgery almost 5 months ago now, and they've been saying, oh, he could be back by the regular season, and then 2 week reevaluation, and then very recently Gary Payton just said week to week, I'll be back soon though, or something like that. I'm kind of worried that maybe the soreness just isn't going to go away for whatever reason, and it could be something that he has to have another procedure on. That is my worst fear. I don't think there's a 0% chance of that happening. I'm not a doctor, but I don't know.
Yeah, so there's two. I separate it in two ways. One, I completely agree with the transparency thing. I think, some of the weirdness of signing him, I feel like they didn't want to announce this surgery because then people would have questioned why they signed him when it happened, and they waited until people were excited about the season about to be starting and that kind of stuff before they announced it. I don't really get why, other than to protect your own ego or something. But in terms of what's happened since then, I've said this multiple times, this surgery is different for everyone. From what I've heard about Gary Payton is that he still feels like it's sore when he does certain things. And it's not like he reheard it or anything. He's just worried to push it too much if it's still bothering him. He's kind of caught between, is it just normal soreness in that area, or am I overthinking it, or should I be cautious when it is sore, that kind of thing. And I think they're just being super cautious with it. But at some point, I think rather than have the surgery again, I mean, this is something that he played with for several years like Dame did. So I think at some point, instead of having another surgery or sitting out the season, I think they would just risk him playing, and then if it doesn't work out, giving him the whole offseason again to get better. But I don't foresee like a Festus or a Pau Gasol type situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's hard not to worry about it though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
because like I felt like that in the past, and then we get bad news.
Yeah.
Nurkic had a setback, and Festus Ezeli, that whole thing. I get people that are really worried based on what's happened in the past. Me and Stephen Vaughn. It's a clip up on it's a YouTube short actually, I think, on this main channel. If you go to our shorts section, there's videos, live streams, and shorts. Me and Stephen Vaughn talked about it, and he was telling me how worried he was, and I was like, okay, why are you worried? And it was basically just because of the stuff that's happened in the past, which I totally get.
Just Blazer fan.
Yeah, being a Blazer fan, absolutely, and that's what he said. So
man, imagine. I mean, I just missed the whole Bill Walton thing because I was born in '79. His injury happened after the season after the championship. I think we're 50-10 when he hurt his foot, and so there's a few of you watching that probably remember going through this now for 45 years.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine adding that to all the things that I go through, and then the younger fans here they probably go back to maybe the Roy Oden days, you, but don't go much before that. But yeah, it's always been a thing with the Blazers.
Sucks, man. It sucks. But yeah, hopefully, I don't know. I don't like talking about this. We won tonight, all right? No, guys will come back at some point, right? So let's just enjoy the win. Let me set up the Around the NBA scores because I forget that won't show up right away. I changed the folder I have it in because it's coded because we're fancy. Any other questions you saw that you like? Feel free to answer.
Do you think this team will try and develop Jabari Walker in the coming years? Yeah, that's something. Outside of the injuries, as excited as I was for Jabari, I didn't think he had any chance of really playing this year. Now, when we had a bunch of injuries, I'm not sure why he wasn't given a shot. But, yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's the kind of guy you have to, develop, really.
Yeah, he just has to knock down threes, and I still think he needs to get his body in a little better shape. And then work on his ball handling. Because I didn't talk about this play, Eric. The play he had where he drove baseline and just drove out of bounds was real bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he thought he was doing there. So he needs to work on some skill stuff, being able to handle the ball, being able to pass the ball. But that's the thing is, those were his weaknesses coming out of college. We didn't draft him to be a ball handler or passer. We drafted him to be a guy who can rebound, knock down threes, and play defense. So maximizing those traits could be what turns him into a good NBA rotation piece. Defensively, I just think he needs to get in a little better shape. That would benefit him. And then the three-point shooting, just more reps, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And just getting comfortable at the NBA level shooting threes because he had a couple open looks today and just... I don't know if nerves got the better of him or what, but the second one he missed badly short.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's part of being a rookie and not getting much of a chance. And then if you already missed a three and then you're getting another one, it's like, oh man, if I don't make this, am I gonna play again next game? Or that kind of stuff can definitely impact you. So hopefully that's not the case moving forward.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go to Around the NBA. We had 7 games today from the association, Eric. I don't know why it's not putting final again. I have to figure out which coding file to use. But all games are final as of now. The Mavericks get a big win over the New York Knicks, 121-100 in the Big Apple. Let me pull up the box score here. We got Luka, I assume, leading in points, of course. Luka Doncic, 30 points for the Mavericks. They just haven't had enough outside of him. Dorian Finney-Smith struggled in this game, only had 3. But Tim Hardaway stepped up, had 28 on 10 for 17 shooting, and then Spencer Dinwiddie had 17 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds. For the Knicks, they fall to 10 and 13. Julius Randle had 24 points, but they've been without Derrick Rose pretty much all season. He just returned, though, played 13 minutes, had 4 points off the bench. That team is just mediocre and don't really seem to have a sense of direction. Anyway.
Next game, the Kings blow out the Clippers. They jump on them early, and Clippers never really got back into it. Would have been nice to beat them a few nights ago, but yeah, Clippers, they were without both Kawhi and Paul George once again, and their leading scorers were Zubac with 13 and Terrence Mann with 13. That's pretty much it for them scoring wise. The Kings had 23 from the aforementioned Keegan Murray on 8 of 15 shooting. Good game from him. Sabonis has been killing it lately. He had 24, 5, and 6. And Fox only needed to score 14 points in this game because they were ahead by so much.
Yep, good defensive game from the Kings as well, holding the Clippers to 96. Meanwhile, in Charlotte, the Bucks get the win 105-96 to move to 16-6 on the season. Chris Middleton is back, but he didn't play in this game. Also, Giannis Antetokounmpo did not play in this game. Also, Drew Holiday did not play in this game, so they were without all three of their big three. Instead, they were led by Bobby Portis, 9 for 18, 20 points. Jordan Nwora, 7 for 11, 17 points. Javon Carter had 14. Just a team effort there from Milwaukee. Thanasis was the Antetokounmpo to play today. He had 2 points in 18 minutes. And for the Charlotte Hornets in the loss, 26 from Terry Rozier on 10 for 21. 21 points from Jalen McDaniels, not Jaden, Jalen McDaniels, 8 for 15 from the field. He was a big part of our stream a couple days, that was yesterday. Our stream yesterday on Blazers Uprise Live, I talked about a trade target I liked. That is Jalen McDaniels. That's one of the guys that I would like for the Blazers to realistically target as a guy that can knock down threes and maybe be solid defensively and young, lanky size. He had a good game today. Has played well this year for the Charlotte Hornets. Definitely go watch back that stream. The second channel, we stream Mondays and Thursdays. This week we streamed Friday instead of Thursday, but the link is in the description box below. PJ Washington was 0 for 13, Eric.
Oh, wow.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting performance from him. Anyway, up next, you got Toronto and Orlando.
Toronto beats Orlando a night after getting blown out by the Nets. Orlando is just really struggling this year. They may find themselves with a Victor Wembanyama in the offseason, which would be crazy to add him to that team.
Bol, Banchero, Wembanyama, Wagner, just going for all guys that are like 6'9" or taller.
Yep. But they do have Markelle Fultz back. They have the other Wagner. Mo Wagner's been playing now. So they got a lot of their guys back. Cole Anthony is back from injury as well. Paul Banchero only 9 points tonight. 2 of 8 from the field. Only played 27 minutes. And then for the Raptors, they got 26 from Siakam, along with 10 assists and 8 rebounds, almost a triple-dub there. 32 from OG Anunoby, Anunoby. 17 and 14 from Scotty Barnes. So good win for them. Get back on track. And they're only 12 and 11 too, just like us.
Yeah. So Toronto hoping to get more health. Orlando's been banged up all year as well. Sucks to see it, and sucks to have it with our Blazer team. But shout out Michael V, $5 dono, says, sorry, late for my post-game W Wono. Let's go Wyman's and Waramy, baby. Thank you, Michael V, for the $5 dono. Appreciate it. And I always look forward to that every game. Yours and Jordan's GG Hippopotamus sticker I rely on in these post-game wins. Always looking forward to it. Thank you, Michael. Up next, we got the Thunder, who have played well this year. They get the win over the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minnesota, 135-128. Massive score there in Minnesota. For the I almost said the Orlando Thunder. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, 33 from SGA, who's been phenomenal this year. He's basically a lock for the All-Star game. Josh Giddey had 21 points and 12 rebounds, 15 off the bench from Kenrick Williams, and 14 from Jeremiah Robinson-Earl. For the Timberwolves, they had Gobert, they had D'Angelo Russell, they had Anthony Edwards, but Karl-Anthony Towns is going to be out for... how long is he supposed to miss?
I want to say it was like at least 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Because they haven't been good with him, and they lose without him. Defensively, they cannot contain the Oklahoma City Thunder despite having Rudy Gobert. Although, actually, Rudy Gobert only played 9 minutes. It looks like he left with an injury, potentially. But he was a minus 11 in those 9 minutes. They had 27 from D'Angelo Russell, 26 from Anthony Edwards, 21 off the bench from Jalen Noel. Minnesota was hyped up, and I had them as a home court advantage team going into this year. It looks like that's going to be wrong. They have just been a mess, and now they have Cat out. They finally made the playoffs last year. Well, I guess they made it with Jimmy Butler for a year, but they made the playoffs last year, and it was like, oh, the Kings might or not the Kings, the Timberwolves might finally be on the come up. They might finally be headed in the right direction. Doesn't look to be the case.
Gobert got ejected. Thanks, Chet. He apparently...
Oh, yeah, he tripped
someone.
Kenrick Williams. I didn't think he would get ejected for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know why he did it either, because it didn't look like there was anything malicious from Kenrick Williams. It was just Gobert being weird, man. It's a weird guy.
Yep. And then the final game of the night was the Golden State Warriors taking care of the Houston Rockets and moving to 11-1 at home. So the night after the Rockets beat the Suns, they gave up 39 points and were down 16 in the first quarter. Kevin Porter Jr. had 20 points for them. A couple people in the teens, but not much else. And then the Golden State Warriors were led by Andrew Wiggins with 36 points. Steph Curry had 30 and 10.
Yep, that concludes the scores section. Let's take a look at the standings. Eric, we haven't looked at this slide in a while. Portland used to be number 1. Now they're number 9, but they are only a game and a half out of 4th. They are only 3.5 games back of first. They gained a game on Phoenix. Phoenix lost yesterday. Portland won today. Also ahead of Dallas and Minnesota. What is your take on the standings picture right now?
I mean, I don't like being in that play-in still, but like Utah has one more loss than us now. They just played 3 more games. But it will be nice to not have to play for a few days after tomorrow. Maybe get some more practice time in and get guys healthy. But I mean, we're not out of it by any means of getting back up into conversation for home court advantage, but we're also not out of the woods in terms of, not making the playoffs at all. So still got to stay on it. The Lakers have been creeping up, so got to be careful with them. Other than that, not many teams below us scare me right now. Maybe you can make a case for Minnesota. But yeah, I just got to find a way to keep building wins.
Yep, and shout out Michael V for the $2 dono who was correcting me. He said Lobert ejected for tripping. Thank you, Michael, for the donos, man. Yeah, I'm not... Dallas is a mess right now. I'm finally right in terms of being low on Dallas entering the season, because I've been low on them for a couple of seasons now, and they just don't have enough around Luka. Offensively and defensively, they're not... I don't know. They've regressed a little bit from last year. So 11-11, Luka's carrying that team. I don't know how he plays any better. Dallas, I think, is a play-in team despite making the Western Conference Finals last year. Minnesota is a mess right now. Oklahoma City's actually been surprisingly competitive. They're only a game back of Minnesota and only a game and a half back of Dallas. So it'll be interesting to see if they make a push up towards the next tier. Same with the Lakers, who are playing better lately. They're 9-12 and 13th, but they're only 9-12. Really only 2 legitimate bottom feeders in the West right now being Houston and San Antonio, who's been awful after a hot start. They were, 5-2 or something like that? And have lost 15 of 16 games or something crazy, and their only win was over the Bucks by 18 points. San Antonio is very strange, but yeah, Golden State's kind of come back to where you would expect them to be. It'll be interesting to see how high they can rise. They've just been great at home, bad on the road, like
Mm-hmm.
us last year. So just jam packed, man. That's the thing is when things are this close, a couple like 1 week will completely mix up the standings, and Portland having injury trouble and playing a hard schedule is leading to them not having a better record. So that's the thing is this should not be indicative of where teams finish at all. Some teams have had to deal with more and have had to deal with much harder schedules. Portland's one of those teams. So feeling pretty okay right now, being only half a game back of 6, a game back of 5th. Anyway, let's take a look at the East. Boston, Milwaukee, kind of the cream of the crop. Cleveland's kind of separated themselves for 3rd, and then you have a bunch of teams 4th through 11th. That's Atlanta, Indiana, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Toronto. All those teams only separated by a game. Milwaukee's still trying to get back to 500. And then Chicago down there at 12th. Do you think that they blow it up this year and trade Levine and or DeRozan?
I mean, I don't think they will. I think if they get offered, the 2027, 2029 first unprotected and a 2028 pick slot unprotected from the Lakers, I think you have to consider it. I know that a lot of people will whine about, the Lakers get it again. But, I don't know. I think you got to consider it if you're Chicago, but I don't know if they will be willing to pull the trigger.
Yep. Orlando was my Cinderella team of the year. They just haven't been able to get healthy down there at the bottom. Detroit, Charlotte, all those teams have had to deal with some injuries. Anyway, let's look at the next 5 games for your Portland Trailblazers. They're all home games, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them are back-to-backs, and you got 3 days off between tomorrow's game and the follow-up game. We got Indiana, Denver, Minnesota twice, which are going to be without Karl-Anthony Towns, and San Antonio. You at least got to go 3-2 on this 5-game homestand.
Yeah.
At least got to go 3-2.
Yeah, for sure.
But I wouldn't be shocked if this team, if Dame plays tomorrow, and then you got 3 days off before Denver, who we've already beaten at home. I wouldn't be shocked if we rattled off a 5-game winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is the stretch where we start to pick up steam again, start to climb the standings, and everybody feels better about this team again.
Yeah, for sure.
Fingers crossed for that. Anyway, let's conclude this with a breakdown. You had 1 play today, so I'm going to get it loaded up here, and that'll kind of wrap up the recap for tonight, and then we'll have another post-game show tomorrow. Dude, I changed the organization of everything, and it was a mistake because I am all disorganized. You ever try and organize something, and then you just end up forgetting how you organized it, and then you're more disorganized?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what I'm
dealing
with.
It's like if you just left it in the messy way, you at least knew where stuff was,
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. We got 90 to 88. What do we have in this play, Eric?
All right, so this is just a possession where I just wanted to once again illustrate some of the breakdowns that are happening on defense. Let's see. We have a situation where it's starting off. We talk about this a lot where it's like, okay, we're starting off, we're pretty well matched up, right? But in this one, we're not matched up well at all.
Yeah.
And we have a situation where we have Ant was telling Jabari to go out and guard someone on the perimeter, not Taylor Horton Tucker. We have Jeremy Grant on Jordan Clarkson, which, I don't like still, but, it's going to happen. And then we have 2 guys guarding 3 guys over here. And as we go to the next slide, let's just kind of see what happens. So Vanderbilt's going to dive. And Ant has to leave Taylor Horton Tucker because there is no one else that can get him. Okay?
Yeah, that's bad.
And so I don't know how he slipped through there without anyone noticing. I don't know what Watford and Jabari Walker are doing because there's 5 people to the left. There you see all 5 Jazz players. There's no one around where Jabari is. And Ant's supposed to be on Taylor Horton Tucker, so he shouldn't have to guard Vanderbilt here, but he sees Vanderbilt and has to go with him. So then we see in the third slide, we have, Ant is fine. But now we have a situation where Jabari's still standing there, guarding no one. Watford is now down next to him. They both think they're guarding Olynyk because Watford can't see Jabari, but Jabari isn't communicating with him to say that he's there. Yeah. So you see up there, Jordan Clarkson's getting a double screen, and there's 3 Jazz players and only 2 Blazers here. So Sharp's just going to go through because this is the problem with young players too. So like if Sharp's guarding Beasley, Billups is in his ear. Do not give him an open 3. You stay on him like glue, right? And so Sharp's not even thinking of like switching here or doing anything. He's just like thinking, I got to stay with Beasley. Stay with Beasley. So Grant actually gets through the Beasley screen okay, but they have a second screener with no other guy there. And you can see in the last slide, Grant gets picked off by Horton Tucker, resulting in Clarkson with a wide open 3. Sharp doesn't help. Grant's all confused on where his helper is. And you see Watford's confused. Walker still hasn't moved. Like just a mess of a possession. Yeah. And somehow Clarkson misses this 3 and we get away with it. But just that kind of stuff is just a complete breakdown. And from pretty much everyone on this play, other than maybe Ant and Jeremy, were fine, but everyone else is kind of confused there and didn't do a good job of recovering once we made a mistake.
I mean, Trendon, if you have Olynyk and you don't even see Jabari and nobody's out, I can't even blame Trendon for that. Like, best case scenario is earlier in this play, Trendon obviously slides up to Horton Tucker and Jabari takes Olynyk, but like, what is Jabari doing? Jabari gotta communicate, like, I'm here, or figure out who he's guarding. So yeah, that's not good from Jabari. That's the type of mistakes that he's not supposed to make, being a high IQ rookie, right? So it kind of sucked to see that tonight. Anyway.
Yeah, and usually he doesn't make those kind of plays, so yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, final thoughts on this game?
Just very happy to get back in the win column, and hopefully they can come home and play better at home. For some reason, they have not done well at home this year, outside of the beginning of the season, obviously. But we need to find a way to stack some wins at home here and get our home record up, and I think that needs to start tomorrow night with Indiana.
Yep, I want to hear Moda Center loud tomorrow, especially with Dame back. Indiana, I guess we can preview that game a little bit before we sign off here. Are they going to play Halliburton? I know he missed the last game. Do you know his injury status?
I do not. Let me see if there's any update on that.
All right. But they've been playing well this year. They're kind of the surprise team of the East. Every year there is one. They're 12-10. They've won 6 out of their last 10, though. Lost a couple straight going into this one. You have Miles Turner, who's playing terrific basketball. He can stretch the floor. Mathurin, the rookie, has been good off the bench for them. Actually, almost their leading scorer. He averages 18.9 points per game. Halliburton averages 19.1. But Halliburton's the best passer in the league right now, averaging 11 assists per game. Very, very smart, high IQ player. So if we're not on top of it defensively and he plays, then he can pick us apart. Do you know his status?
Whose?
Halliburton's. You said you looked it up.
That's I'm looking it up. You talk. Yeah, I'm still trying to find anything. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was just trying to segue me talking about him because if they don't have him, that's a huge loss for them.
He actually played last night.
Oh, he played last night. Yeah, so I'd expect him to play. He can really pick us apart with his passing. One of the smartest players in the league, despite being a young guy. And then you just got guys that can knock down shots. Buddy Hield can hit shots. Andrew Nemhard, the rookie from Gonzaga, is a smart point guard as well, can play on or off the ball, hit that game winner against the Lakers. Despite him being a rookie, he's one of the more mature, like NBA-ready rookies, older. So he's a guy that it'll be fun for me as a Gonzaga fan to watch him play an entire game. But Neesmith's playing some minutes for them. He has shot 35% from three. But he's a guy that can occasionally get hot. They have a lot of guys that have seen time. They just play well as a team, defend. Miles Turner blocks a lot of shots. Jalen Smith's been good this season as well. But really the three guys you got to watch out for other than Miles Turner are three guards or wings, Halliburton, Mather, and Hield. Those three guys are really what makes that offense go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just you got to find a way to not let Halliburton completely control the game. He excels at that. He gets wherever he wants. He passes wherever he wants. He can score when he wants to. Just got to...
Eric, you know what's going to happen?
What's that?
Grant's going to be on Halliburton.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And Halliburton is the best passing point guard in the league, going to run a ton of pick and roll, and that is what I'm worried about tomorrow.
We're going to have to help on him, and the help will come from Hield's man, and he'll start cashing threes, and yeah, he'll hit like 7 threes.
Yeah. We win this game if we can figure out how to not let Tyrese Halliburton control this game as a scorer and a passer from the point guard spot. But I could easily see us putting Grant on him. Grant gets screened out plays. We overhelp and give up open threes. And Buddy Hield has like 27 points on 7 threes or something like that. If the Blazers lose this game, it'll probably be that sort of way. You know, Mathurin hits threes, that sort of thing. So that's really the main thing to look for, in my opinion, is who are we matching up against Tyrese Halliburton? And how are we guarding him? And what is he creating for Indiana? But Indiana's a good team. I like their team a lot. They got a lot of players that I like. Mathurin, Halliburton, Nemhard. One of my favorite Eastern Conference teams. Will be interesting to watch them for an entire game and really see where their strengths are as a team that everybody had in the lottery entering this season, but has looked at times like a legitimate playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, still gotta get the win. We gotta run out here with the victory. Anyway.
I hope all of you join us tomorrow night after the game. Hope to see you all there.
Yep. And hopefully you guys have a good rest of your night. Might do a watch party tomorrow. I'll let you guys know sometime later tomorrow. We'd like to do them on weekends, so tomorrow being a Sunday, 6 p.m. tip-off time. Might decide to do that. We shall see. But with that being said, the Blazers get a much-needed win to move to 12-11, staying above 500. They beat the Jazz 116-111. Anfernee Simons, a phenomenal night. 45 points. He was great. Jeremy Grant was great. 33 points for him. Those two guys have been carrying this team and looking like legitimate stars. Make sure to subscribe to our second channel. That link is in the description. TikTok at Blazers Uprise YT. Also at Blazers Uprise YT for the channel's Twitter. There's also links to mine and Eric's. And join our Discord as well. Linked in the description box below. And I will post one more link in chat for that. And I'll eventually get the TikTok link in chat as well for when we upload short form videos on TikTok. And we've been doing that on YouTube as well. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Anyway, final words.
Have a good night, everyone. See you guys tomorrow. Go Blazers.
All right. Yeah. Have a good rest of your night. Looking forward to hopefully another win tomorrow. Got to take care of the Indiana Pacers and got to start this home stand off, right? 5 games at home and some rest days and Dame coming back. I put him in the thumbnail for the stream for a reason. He's there lurking in the background, watching Simons. He's proud of his protege, but we need the OG back. We need Dame back, and it'll be fun to hopefully see him play tomorrow. So have a good rest of your night. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.